Good afternoon, everybody. This is Mike from Comtech. Just wanted to let Chelsea from Gaithersburg Chamber of Commerce do some introductions here. Give me 1 second, and we'll get her added to the webinar.
You also have Mel here as well with Comtech. I'm going to be kind of sitting in the background helping to direct questions Mike's way throughout this process, but just figured I'd throw that out there as well.
So I'm sorry, Chelsea, but it doesn't seem like it's letting me unmute you. Not sure why. Well, we'll get ahead and get started. Don't want to spend too much time on that. Again, my name is Mike. We also, again, have Mel from Comtech Systems. We're a local member of the Gaithersburg Chamber of Commerce and a local company based here in Gaithersburg. We wanted to have this webinar today to introduce everybody who's maybe not 100% familiar to Teams, and for those who maybe already know it, hopefully we'll get into Teams in depth enough for you to learn a couple things to take back and use at your respective businesses. So we'll essentially be covering a couple talking points and then actually getting into the program itself and using it. And so you can see everything live. And then, like Mel said, please use the app to submit questions, and then we'll reference those if they're pertinent at the time, or we'll kind of collect them and answer them towards the end of the section. So just for a little deeper dive into us as a company, again, we're Comtech Systems, Inc. We've been here in Gaithersburg for the last 35 years. We're a what's called a managed services provider. So we provide 24/7 IT support for your company. We provide network support, PCs, email, everything that you might need as a business, and we can help you, whether it's via, oh, Mel just told me I'm not sharing my screen. There, that's a little better. Let me restart that. So anyway, we can help you with any of the technology needs that your small business requires. Again, 24/7 managed support. We offer 365 and, of course, Teams, consultation, setup, etc. We can help bring your company into the cloud, and we do that again through Microsoft Azure. So we offer cloud workspace, so a hosted desktop, and also cloud infrastructure. So that's bringing services or individual servers up into the cloud for your company. We also specialize in network security, firewalls, physical security, etc., and also security training for your users. So one of the big holes that exist in a lot of small companies is just keeping the users up to date of current security procedures, things to look out for, red flags, etc. So we have a program to make it easier for you to reach out to your users and really engage and use best practices when it comes to your network. We also provide business voice in form of helping with Teams, of course, as a voice platform, but also other hosted voice platforms as well, wireless. And we're also a member of TAG, which is an organization that we belong to that extends our reach, so to speak. So while your company may be headquartered here in Gaithersburg, if you have other locations that are across the country, or even not that far away, maybe on the East Coast, we can help you at other locations as well through an organization of other small companies like ourselves. So without further ado, we want to get into 365 and Teams. Just wanted to do a little introduction on the 365 platform for those who might not know exactly what it is. It's Microsoft's managed service platform. So they have gone to a monthly billing platform for many of their services. The most notable change for that probably is the productivity suite. So you no longer have the option to buy just the software for a fixed price. They include it with some of their other services. And they've changed a lot of their offering into this model. So you can get email for a monthly cost inside of 365, OneDrive, etc., most of Microsoft's services. So as I mentioned, email, the Office suite, Active Directory, so that is the management of who's allowed to sign into your network and what permissions do they have, lots of other things. So it's just their platform that they have now introduced their services to be consumed. And Teams is one of those services. So when you buy a 365 license, you have access to Teams. It's included in there. It's not an extra charge. So everything that we're going to be talking about in general is included with 365. And I'll specify later on in the presentation if something is an add-on or something like that. Again, the Teams client can be used on the PC, which is what I'll be showing you today, but it also will work on a Mac. You can use a web version for somebody who just needs to sign in, maybe somebody outside your organization who's joining a meeting with you. And then it works on mobile as well. Right, so how can it help your business? I mean, we want to get to down to the key point of the presentation. What Teams is, and I've described it in another presentation as a kind of information superhighway, so to speak, to borrow the term, for remote workers. So it really centralizes group communication, speeds up inter-office communication, meetings, and documentation. So all of those things that are involved with communicating with internally with your staff, it puts it all into one place. You have the ability to break up conversations and file them away, store files with a particular conversation, and then you can have meetings based around those topics of conversation. So without getting too much farther into the description of it, I'm going to actually open up our Teams client that we've been using since the pandemic started, and really show how we use it to keep everybody in touch amidst all of this. So this is our Teams client here. And when you open it up and you sign in again with your email information, you've got a menu bar over here. This is your main menu to get to all the different features. You have a search bar up here at the top. And then what I'm going to do is just select the Teams menu item here. This is the heart of the program. So where the group communications is organized and where I'll start to show you what I was describing. These icons here are Teams. Those are the actual unit that we've been talking about. It's kind of a confusing term when it's talked about in generalities, but the specific of it is just a group of people that are all privy to the communications within there. And again, that is meetings, chats, files, etc. So all a team is a group of people within your company. If I open this up, you'll see that our all staff team, so that's everybody who's in our company is in this. We have a lot of different demarcations in there. Those are called channels. Channels are individual topics of conversation. So a team by itself doesn't really, a team doesn't work on a particular topic. It's the channel within the team that is how you denote a particular topic of conversation or of work. And these are fully customizable. What we have here is just what we've set up for ourselves, and you can set up whatever works for your business. And that's one of the things that we like to spend a lot of time on is making sure that companies understand how best to use these teams, and then to consult with you and help you set up whatever works best for your business. So if I pick on one of these channels, just as an example, our E911, we use this just to make sure that everybody is up to date on the most recent law changes in E911, because again, we do a lot of business voice systems, so we have to be up to date on what's current. So this item up here where it says post, that's what it starts you in when you click on a channel, and this is just a chat thread. So people can put in pictures, text, links to websites, whatever you want. It is just a chat window. But the difference is that everything that is within the team or within the channel that's put into the chat is stored. So, oh, there we go. Thank you, Mel.
No problem.
So that chat that Mel just put in there will be stored for the remainder of the time that we keep that channel alive, as long as we don't delete the whole channel. So it makes it very easy. We'll go to our next point in here. Faster office communications, and especially when you need to catch up. So a good example of that, where Mel just put that chat, might be in another one of our channels. I'll go to our teams as a product offering. So there's a lot in here, but what we might put in here as an example is not a chat to one other user, but it might be something like, hey, company-wide, as a heads up, we're making this change to our product offering. Then it's saved and it's right up front for everybody to see. And so we describe that as kind of the water cooler effect. Once somebody is added to a team and they go into a channel, they can go back as far as they want and read the whole progress of that chat conversation, the files that are there within a channel, and they can catch up instead of searching for emails or having something be forwarded to you or looking through files or another program, which I'm sure we've all done. So it condenses all of that right into one place. We like to call that the water cooler conversation. You know, it makes it really easy to catch up with a project quickly within 5 minutes, like you would with a water cooler conversation. So before I get to the next topic, talking about actual Teams meetings, I wanted to go through here and just kind of walk you through the program a little bit more, go into files, and get everyone a little more familiar with the program itself. So I'll stay here within this channel. And again, up here at the top where I've selected posts, excuse me, that's the actual chat feed for that particular channel. If I go over here to files, there's a bank of files that we've stored relevant just to Teams as a product offering. This system uses SharePoint, which is again part of your 365 account if you've signed up. And it uses SharePoint in the back end to keep all of these files up to date and to allow you to do some other really neat things like co-editing. So I can open one of these files up. Let's just pick on a PowerPoint here. And I can start editing that within Teams. And Mel, actually, if you want to help me out and jump into the Teams the editing there. We'll wait for him to jump in just so we can see.
Yep, sorry about that.
That's okay.
My phone was ringing too, and I had to make it go away. Which one are you in?
We're in Microsoft 365 Day in the Life. It's a PowerPoint presentation.
All right. It is opening, and I'll be there shortly. I'm here.
So
All right.
not a lot we can do in a PowerPoint, but as we start to edit and select things, you can see Mel's icon right here indicating he's highlighted that and can start editing. So really helpful if you're working on a particular Word document or maybe communications with a client. You can both actively edit at the same time, and it is actively saving. So every time you're making a change, it's saving that document. And then all we have to do is close it. And then that document in the Teams, in that channel's file is saved. And we can come back to it, and we can all come back to the same version of the file every time. So it makes it really easy to coordinate and keep a recent version of a document. Mel, does it look like we have any questions on that or anything so far?
No questions at the time so far, but as you pointed out, this works for Excel, it works for Word, works for all the Microsoft products like that.
Good point. Yep. So you can edit any of those Microsoft Productivity Suite programs within Teams. There are some limitations. You may find that certain features don't work. Like if you're a very heavy Excel user, you will want to open that file up in another or in the actual Excel platform, but very rarely do you need to do that. And then the last thing we have here is the wiki. That is a place for you to put static information about that particular channel. And again, this is not for the whole team, it's just for the channel, for the topic of conversation. So if I go up to our general channel and go to the wiki, there's not a lot, but we've put this here to just describe exactly what this channel is for so that everyone's aware. And we've got, of course, several different channels you can add, as many as are relevant to your company. But it is also a place where you want to be careful of how many you're adding. And again, that's why we like to help you figure out how to most efficiently use it. If I wanted to add another team, for example, there might be 10 or 20 teams that exist within an organization, but I might only look at 2 or 3 at a time. But if I wanted to do that, I could go down here and simply search for the team and join the team. So as long as the team allows people to join on their own, I can add and remove teams as I need to. And again, do that water cooler conversation. I can add the team, read through everything, and then I'm caught up with a project, for example. So it makes that really, really easy. So now we want to get into the other side. We have the note here, it replaces other paid for options like Zoom, GoToMeeting, WebEx. So Teams will allow you to video call and also screen share and even just regular voice call other users within Teams and people outside of your organization too. It is not limited to just your company. So generating a call is as easy as saying, well, if we go to Mel, for example, if I was sending chats back and forth between Mel and myself, I could go up here and do an audio call or a video call. I'll just do a quick audio call so we can see the interface.
Helps if I don't have Do Not Disturb turned on.
I was going to say, you have to pick up, you promised.
Yeah, you have to restart the call.
No problem. You're available now?
I am available now.
Okay. That presence is something we'll talk about right after this call. All right. So we're going to go ahead and just mute the video and voice because we don't want to conflict. Oh, he's got his video. There you go. So there you go. There's another thing. You can blur backgrounds and put in anything that you might like. You can actually add your own if you want to create a nice tiki lounge, beachfront scenery for your video calls. But we've got down here at the bottom, we've got all your camera controls, time for the meeting, a couple of the menu items. So we've just done a one-on-one call here, but if, of course, there's times where we need to add somebody else in, we can just go over here to show participants, and I can start adding people in. For example, I could add Scott, or just start searching any other name and hit enter, and the system will start calling him, and when he answers, it'll add that call in. It's as easy as that. We can also go over here and have a chat conversation at the same time. So if there's things that we need to maybe submit to share with everybody, we can do that right here. Go ahead and close that.
So while I have your attention, Mike,
would you mute that?
I might. Oops. There we go. Sorry about that. While I have your attention, I do have a question from Ron. He was wondering, is SharePoint a part of Teams now, or what is the dynamic there?
So SharePoint is the back end for the team file shares. So when you use Teams, you utilize SharePoint to create a SharePoint site for every team, and that's what stores and versions your files for you. It does not create a full SharePoint experience for your company, but it uses it as a tool. So if you buy, if your company buys Office 365 email licenses, that's the most common one. So let's say you buy the enterprise email licensing, you have access to email, Teams, SharePoint, all of those things as part of that. But Teams is just utilizing your SharePoint. It's not setting it up past what it needs for the program to run itself. So hopefully that answers your question there. Do we have any other questions, Mel, before we keep going?
We have one, but you're going to touch on it later, so I'll make sure you highlight that particular topic when we get there.
Okay. So just to continue kind of within the call, we've got our menu option here. Actually, let me finish this. So right over here is sharing. So if I wanted to go in and share my whole desktop, a particular window, a program I'm using, you have all the options right here, and you just select it and it will show it to whoever's on the call, just like Zoom or any of the other programs. It's just very, very easy. If I go into here, we've got some options. I can put a call on hold. I can do some other phone system type things. You're seeing that here because we use Teams as part of our phone system. I'm going to get into that more later in the presentation, but we have background effects, keypad. You can record calls, so you can record on demand for your meetings or one-on-one calls. And then up here at the top is one I always like to point out, device settings. So one of the things that Teams makes very easy to do is to change your audio devices. I'm sure we've all fought with our microphones and headsets and computers as we're trying to get our audio correct for these calls. Teams makes it very easy to, even while you're on the call, go in and change your audio devices, and then of course change your volume for that particular device. Shows you your microphone as well, so you can see, I won't do that for too long, so you can see that it's working and make sure that everyone's getting your audio. All right. So Mel, is the question about inside versus outside your organization the one that we're looking at?
Yep.
Okay. So to address that directly, no, Teams can be used outside of your organization. So there's a couple ways that happens. If I were to create a Teams invite for a meeting, which I can do within the Teams client, but I can also do within Outlook. So if you're used to making a Teams meeting making scheduled meetings within Outlook, you can go ahead and do that within Teams as well. I'm sorry, within Outlook. So I'm going to get that started. And when you do that Outlook invite, you can put in more than just your internal parties. So you see right up here at the top, I have create a Teams meeting. Just call it test. And then I can put in any emails that I like. They can be inside the organization, outside the organization, doesn't matter. If somebody who is outside of the organization uses Teams and already has it available, then it will start the meeting within their Teams client, and they can, use everything that they're used to and carry on. If they don't have Teams, then it will start up a web version so that they can still join the call, just like Zoom or any of the other services. So no need to have Teams when calling the people outside the organization. Anybody can join the call. One thing I wanted to point out here is we have this meeting invite. We have a 10-digit number here to be able to call into our meetings. That's just a small additional cost, but it is something that is not default. It's something that we would help you set up and add to your account. So I just wanted to make that distinction. That's one of those little extra items. It's only a few dollars a month per person who needs it, so very inexpensive. All right. So we got into the meetings a little bit. Now I wanted to talk about, especially because we're on the organization side, talking about sharing documents as well. So as we mentioned, within each channel, let me just get back there. So we'll go to E911. Within each channel and of course within each team, you have files attached to that particular channel. So when you go to look at those files, there's a couple options that they give you here. Of course, you can upload and download new files or get copies of existing ones, but you can also copy a link, which again, those who are familiar with SharePoint might recognize it. It's a web link to download just that file. So you can give, you can segment access or give access to download a single file by using this copy link feature. And again, that works for people outside the organization also. You can go a little further with that by adding cloud storage. There's two ways to do it. You can add cloud storage here, and those who might use Dropbox or Google Drive or something else, you can incorporate that right into Teams. So all you have to do is open the Teams window, and then you can look at the Google Drive or other SharePoint, any of these options that you see here on the screen within that team. So you don't have to go log into another web page. It's right there for you. So sorry about that. It seemed to freeze on me there for a minute. All right, good. Everybody got the screen working again?
Yep, it's working.
Great, thanks. Okay. So that's the kind of the continuation. So this I just wanted to show you. OneDrive, of course, you can also sync up with this as well, the built-in Microsoft personal file sharing within OneDrive. So the last part of this is you can also add, and let's see, where did that file go? Mel, you might have to help me out here.
Which file are we looking for?
I'm actually looking to add a user, and it seems it's disappeared on me.
To add, go ahead.
Yeah, add a user outside of your organization. Oh, no, never mind. So here in the team itself, so what I've done, or what I'm going to show you, is the ability to add outside users to the entire team. So not only can you share individual files and individual parts of the communications within a team, but you can actually add an outside user to the entire team and allow them access to the whole interface. And that's as easy as adding a member and then putting in, again, it can be an external email, and putting that in there and then sending them the invite. And then you can delegate the permissions that those outside users have. So you're able to control the flow of information within Teams. All right. Any other questions that we got, Mel? I think we're...
Someone missed something related to the cloud sharing and how Google Drives, how to get to the Google Drive. Can you just touch back on that real quick?
Yeah, sure. So that's right up here in Add Cloud Storage. And to clarify even further, that's within a particular channel. So we've got our team up here. We would pick the channel that we would want to add the Google Drive information to. So I'll use our E911 channel as an example. And then within files, I have several options here to deal with the files for that channel. And one of them is Add Cloud Storage. And then I would click on this, go through the sign-in procedure, and then I can view that Google Drive within a tab right in the same application. All right. So that's the general overview for Teams, kind of hitting all the bits and pieces. There's lots of other things that you can do. One of the powerful things about Teams is that you can expand it to do a lot of different things. First example of that would be what I mentioned earlier. We at Comtech use Teams as part of our phone system. So, if I need to call somebody on behalf of the company, I can do that within Teams, and I can dial just a 10-digit number because we've added the additional licensing to make it part of our phone system. And that's something that we can help you all do. There's a lot of options there in discussion, but it's a service that we provide and can help your businesses with as well. You can also add apps to the Teams interface. There's a lot of different apps. I think there's hundreds or thousands of different apps. So there's a lot of different options there. And there's things from Salesforce to customized app for other applications. This app called Polly is one that we use. It's no more complicated than a quick way to make a poll within a chat. So if you, here's a good one. If you said you're ordering lunch for the office on Friday and you want to put a poll out there that says, who wants pizzas or subs or whatever it might be, you can put that in there. Everyone can chime in and you've got your answer. Nice and easy.
Which one of those options include beer? Because that's what I'm voting for.
That depends on the company. That might need to be a side message to a particular person. However you want to handle that. So there are a lot of options there with different applications. Ton of different things that you can do, so too much to get into, but I just wanted to make everybody aware that there's a lot of customization available there depending on what apps you add into Teams.
You did mention presence earlier, and I'm not sure we've circled back on that.
You're right, I haven't, thank you. So within the calls tab here, this is a place for kind of the phone system functionality, but not only when you have the phone system features that I mentioned earlier. This is available to anybody. The presence here for each user is tied into your Outlook presence. So those who are used to seeing a presence based on your calendar, that is all tied into Teams as well. Same thing with your contacts. So all of your Outlook contacts that you have already in your account, you can access those through Teams. So Teams has a presence that it adds the layer of the phone call on top. So you can see here, for example, Scott's in a meeting because he has the invite for this meeting and he's logged in and joined us on the call here. But the system has said he's in a meeting. Mel is available because he's not currently using the Teams client to make a phone call, and he's cleared his calendar. So we see available. And then he switches it on me. So he switched it to do not disturb. So that's one of the team specific commands that you can do. You can change your Teams client to do not disturb. So if you're in a meeting or physically meeting with a customer in your office, and just like you would put your phone on do not disturb, you can do that for your Teams client as well. I can make phone calls from this page. Look at my contacts history. Teams does have a voicemail, so it is a fully featured phone system if you turn those features on, where you can have an auto attendant greeting that your caller's here. You can direct calls to different groups of people, and those people will have voicemail. Voicemail will transcribe to text automatically. That's included. So lots of those newer phone system features are built in when you add that on. Just to cover this search bar here, doesn't really fit into any of the other topics of conversations because it lets you do anything really in the Teams. It's kind of a central starting point if you'd like to search through Teams or call somebody. So a good example of that might be I can use the command /call, and when I hit space, it starts looking for people, and I can put a name in and hit enter, and I can call that person. So it shortcuts having to look for the icon. There's lots of other shortcuts in there. For anybody who already has Teams, if you kind of take one thing away from this shortcut bar, I would recommend doing the /keys command. And that gives you all of the keyboard shortcuts. And so if you like keyboard shortcuts, they're all there ready for you to use and learn. But again, they're just additional ways to speed up working within Teams. You can do just about most everything with a mouse click like you can in any other program. For basic searching, there's a couple other things. Like I can search for my own name, for example. I think that's /mentions. So if I do /mentions, I can look at all of the conversations that involved myself. So it's a quick way to look that up. And there's lots of other ways to search in there. You can just type a keyword and search through all of your Teams as well. So they make it nice and easy to find information there.
Do have a question just popped in here. Does Teams have a smartphone app option?
Yes, so it is fully compatible, and you can use it in a browser, on a Mac, on a PC, and on a smartphone. So they have everything covered. You can do everything that you can do in the desktop app in the mobile app. So you can open documents, you can have meetings and video calls, you can do chats. All of those same things are available in the smartphone app. All right. So do we have any other questions or anything that someone would like me to recap on? We've about covered it. Again, we just wanted to, give everybody a hands-on introduction and maybe dive a little deeper for those who are already using it. One thing I didn't mention at the beginning, just kind of as a summarization, is please reach out to us if you have any specific questions on Teams or questions on Office 365. We can help you with, all of the things involved with that for your business. And thought I saw one more question pop up there. No,
we already answered it. I just said check it off as answered.
With that, we'll go ahead and end the webinar. I want to wish you all a happy 4th of July. Again, our information is right there, info@comtech.pro, or you can reach us at 301-670-1900. And just press 2 for sales, and we can help you out with any of your 365 or Teams needs. So again, thank you all. Have a good, safe weekend, and we'll talk to you soon.